Hello and welcome back to Manchester United's Red vs Red channel. We're going to be talking all about the things Manchester United, and this is for or against, where we have two sides of the same coin, and hopefully you guys can make your own decision on these statements and we can kind of go from there. And Sporadiclese is here with me. Sporadiclese, you are going to be for this week. I have the first question for you. It is Ten Hag put out the right starting 11 against Crystal Palace. So go ahead and give your piece.
Yeah, I mean, you look at everybody that played today and you look at their recent form, and how do you not start this 11? At left back, Dalot, obviously, I think that, there's not really another option at left back currently. And if you're playing him at left back, you got to play Mazraoui. Martinez is a shoe-in for left center back. De Ligt, you can't say enough good things about the guy, and especially after the performance that he had today. Kobbie Mainoo, fantastic start for him. I think if you're really looking at options for other players to play in the spots that they were playing in, you would look at Christian Eriksen, who today had a phenomenal game. I really think that it would have been very different if we would have played Ugarte, but Eriksen, coming off of a phenomenal performance against Barnsley, you kind of got to play that. 2 goals and an assist. He's in form. He's not had a lot of opportunities, and this was, he took the one opportunity that he really had. On left wing, you had Garnacho playing against, playing a spot that Rashford could have been perceived as the shoe-in for that opportunity, but realistically, Garnacho has as many goals in fewer opportunities or fewer performances as Marcus Rashford this season already, and so you kind of got to play Alejandro Garnacho. So all in all, I think that he really chose the best 11 that was available to him. The only real pivot point could potentially be Ugarte, but against an opponent of the level of Crystal Palace, where you really just need somebody to link up play, I think that Christian Eriksen really served that role. And Ugarte would have been just surplus to requirements, but Christian Eriksen really just brought another level to his game that Ugarte just wouldn't have brought. So so many opportunities were there for Manchester United, and they were a direct result of Christian Eriksen being played and Alejandro Garnacho bringing the energy. And so, in my opinion, this was certainly the starting 11 that you want to bring against a team like Crystal Palace.
Fair enough. I think the point really was there's been lots. I mean, there's been talk about Ten Hag. Pretty much, he wins, people want him to go. He loses, people want him to go. Like, I think it was more emphasised on Ten Hag's decision to put out that team, and because I'm sure there are going to be questions over that selection. Rashford didn't start, Ugarte didn't start, but really, I don't think it was the right. As much as I agree, and remember, this isn't our. I think this is our. We're both trying to play both sides here, for and against. So I'm mostly doing against now, and look, we didn't get the result. Right? So it can't be the right 11 if we didn't get the result. Yes, the players did put in the performance. They should have got their goals, but it didn't really happen, did it? So if we're coming away from the game without the win, surely the first 11 could have improved. If you're saying, I would rather have had Rashford up top, maybe, instead of Xerxes, even though Xerxes created loads. Maybe Rashford would have been on the end of one of those to actually be clinical enough to actually finish one of those chances that was created. I don't know. Maybe Ugarte would have been a bit more dynamic in the midfield. I don't know. But look, we're coming away from the result. We haven't won. Questions do have to be asked. I agree with the squad rotation because it's a long season. We've got lots of games coming. But look, we didn't get the result. We didn't win. If Garnacho would have put that into the top corner, we won 1-0 or something, or if Onana didn't make that amazing double save when we lost 1-0, then questions would be asked about Ten Hag and his opening 11. So yeah, that's my big thing. We didn't get the result as well as we played, as we shoulda, woulda, coulda. I think there are questions there to be asked from the casual fan, personally. But then,
no, I mean, if you start Rashford over Garnacho, there's not really an argument to be made that there would have been anything better, because you saw him get subbed on and really not make a huge impact on the game. Whereas, Garnacho, he had multiple opportunities, and they were good opportunities. So, the finishing wasn't quite there, but, Marcus Rashford only, scoring against Barnsley and Southampton since March of last year. Let's be honest, that's not really a great record. And so Garnacho should be getting the start. He had the opportunities. Yes, he didn't quite make them, but they were good opportunities. I don't think that Marcus Rashford inherently is just going to score those opportunities.
No.
As well as,
I wasn't on about Garnacho.
We didn't necessarily.
So Garnacho was fine. I would say Xerxes could have probably been a sub. So I would have started Rashford up top like he did against Barnsley. And so we still have...
No.
I know we wouldn't have created the same chance. Again, hypothetical. This is for or against, right? So this is not my personal thoughts.
Sure.
I'm just saying...
It can be for or against, but you can still be wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm not in this case. But, I mean, again, how many shots did Xerxes have?
No, you are.
Xerxes didn't have any shots, and we didn't convert any of the chances that Xerxes created. So I'm just saying...
How many shots do United have with Xerxes playing striker versus how many shots would we have had with Rashford up top? How many did we have with Rashford up top today?
Well, he wasn't up top. He played on the left wing, didn't he? Because he came on for... I know he came on for Xerxes, but they switched around. He came on and he was rubbish.
No.
He was invisible all game. I hear you. I understand it. He wasn't that great today. And I'm just saying, in terms of the lineup, there are questions because we didn't win. What other options do we have to make those changes? There's a couple, not many, but there's a couple. But because we didn't win, there are questions being asked. I felt that we could have done a bit better.
Multiple opportunities were created because Joshua Xerxes was pulling central defenders out of position. And you cannot ignore that. Absolutely.
No one's ignoring that. No one's ignoring that at all.
The first opportunity that we had was Alejandro Garnacho. Well, you want to talk about Ten Hag putting out the right starting 11? This absolutely is relevant information. He's dropping in, pulling a center back out of position. Alejandro Garnacho gets in, not once, but twice, because of the way that Joshua Xerxes is moving. And we did not have that same level of threat after Xerxes was subbed off. So you cannot tell me that Xerxes should have started on the bench. There's absolutely no founding reason.
He created chances, and no one's saying that he didn't. No one's saying that he didn't have a good game. I completely agree with you. He created those chances. But there are other chances in the game that weren't anything to do with Xerxes dropping deep. There are other chances in the game created by other players from out wide, or we had corners or set pieces. Sure. Again, which Xerxes isn't being effective in corners or set pieces like we talked about earlier. That Marcus Rashford isn't either, let's be honest. I mean, he's more of the ball at his feet. I'm just saying... out of all the chances that are created...
You're making my point for me.
I am, but I'm about to land. So all the chances that were created by Xerxes, or in the game by general, Xerxes probably created about 3 or 4 of them. So there might have been another 10 chances in the game created without Xerxes being involved. And I just feel like Rashford could have had an outlet or an option. Like, he's on fire. I'd say on fire. He's got 3 goals in 2 games. Xerxes got 1 goal in 5 games or something. Again, this is the argument. This is the for or against. Let us know what you guys think down below. Again, just because we didn't get the win, I think Ten Hag's decision is questionable, at the very least. Other than that, I don't know where you stand. But yeah.
No, I mean, for sure, this was the 11 that we needed to start with, and Xerxes is a core component of that, and I think that we saw it, even after, okay, obviously Rashford came in for Xerxes, but then we had to rotate Rasmus Højlund in. We pulled Amad Diallo, and Garnacho switched, and Rashford had to get out of the space that Xerxes had been previously occupying for Rasmus Højlund. And so if you want to talk about like for like, obviously Xerxes is the better option because he was getting more players involved. There were more opportunities. Whenever, it was only, granted, like 6 minutes that Rashford was up top. But in those 6 minutes, we had absolutely no bite to our offense. There was no getting in behind. There was nothing to generate those opportunities. And so if you really want to talk about picking the best starting 11, you can't pick Rasmus Højlund because he's still coming off of injury. The only other option is Joshua Xerxes, and there were direct opportunities created from Joshua Xerxes being on the ball, being involved, and you just didn't get that with Marcus Rashford. So absolutely he picked the best starting 11, and we should have had goals. We were good for goals today. Absolutely, we were good for goals today.
Yeah, I think my main, again, we might be going slightly off topic here on this one, but Xerxes playing like a midfielder, and it's kind of like well, you can't say no and haven't even given my argument. No, he is. He's dropping deep like a number 10.
I can tell you that he's not.
And he's creating chances for others, which is fine. But he's not. He's supposed to be a striker. He's supposed to be taking some of the chances as well, which we've not really seen a lot of. We've seen him get one chance and he scored, which is great. But like he's not really taking these chances. He's creating more than he's making.
You can say that he has to score as much as you want, but at the end of the day, a striker's worth is measured not only by the goals that he scores, but by the opportunities that he is creating for other players. And that is really where Joshua Xerxes is leaps and bounds ahead of Rasmus Højlund.
I agree with you, but that's not the role that he's playing.
Giving him opportunity.
We're comparing him with a striking role.
No. We have been playing a false nine, and you have agreed that a false nine at times is very beneficial and it's great for the team. And yes, I think that there is that good opportunity for that, and Joshua Xerxes fits that role while still being that striker. He just needs to be a little bit more clinical. But the opportunities that are presented to other players by the movement that he creates and the space, the very first opportunity that Garnacho had, Rasmus Højlund would not have created. Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount would not have created. He drops in, pulls that right center back out of place. Alejandro Garnacho gets in behind. He has a great opportunity. He should score. He didn't. Unfortunate. But that is what we brought him in for. That was the perfect opportunity, the perfect indication of what we can be with Joshua Xerxes on the pitch. And so to say that, oh, well, he didn't make our team better, I think is absolutely like out of pocket. He 100% has been making our team better.
No one's saying that he's not. I agree with you, but he's not creating goals. He's not an actual goal. I know he's creating. Again, we need to move on. Let us know what you guys think down below. But look, he's creating chances, but he's not getting any of the goals. Marcus Rashford has got more goals and chances created in the last few games than Xerxes has all season so far. Again, this is supposed to be emphasised on Erik ten Hag.
Rashford, no, absolutely not.
Well, he's got 3 goals in 2 games at least.
Rashford has not created or been involved in more chances than Xerxes has created or been involved in. I will stand by that.
That will take me a good 10 minutes to develop.
And you want to talk about against Barnsley? You want to talk about quality of chances? Again, I would rather Xerxes create 10 chances against top 5 to 10 opposition versus playing against a tier 1, right? like a tier 1 opposition.
I think
3
you've
goals,
taken
2
my
goals,
opinion.
1 assist. I don't care.
I think you've got the wrong end of the stick over something I've said. I was basically trying to compare. David De Gea is a shot stopper, but Onana's more of a foot with his feet. He's better with his feet, right? He's obviously shown that he's got some great saves today, but there's different characteristics in the same position, right? David De Gea, shot stopper, feet with Onana. Now, Xerxes and Rashford are potentially playing the same position up front, but they've got different characteristics, right? Xerxes drops deep and creates. Rashford likes to run on behind and try and take that. And I'm just saying, I think, again, we could have had a bit more of the other. But hey, we've literally been talking about this one.
How well did that work for Marcus Rashford last season?
Well, and you could say that about anyone for us last season, honestly. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let us know what you guys think down below. I will give you this one, buddy. But honestly, it's I hope you understood some of the things that I was trying to talk about anyway. But okay, so moving on to
for sure
for or against number 2, buddy. Ugarte should have started. So I think. You go ahead and tell me why Ugarte should have started. Now, we've just done, obviously, the lineups should have been right, and but Ugarte is a more centralised kind of position, more character rather than the lineup. So, would Ugarte's performance starting made any difference?
Yeah, I mean, this is a hard one to argue after I just made the winning
after you argued
for
10 minutes over that one, absolutely. But go ahead.
But I think that Ugarte offers something different in terms of the opportunities for Manchester United, and it's not so much on the offensive front. I think there are other players that can kind of facilitate that. Yes, Christian Eriksen was very much an integral part today of our offense, but I don't think that's something that he has an absolute lock in on. I think that Ugarte being able to break up the attack opportunities for Crystal Palace, I think that we can transition quicker with somebody like Ugarte being in there, and the Crystal Palace kind of had success going through the middle a little bit today, and having somebody like Ugarte instead of Christian Eriksen in there is going to offer the opportunity to intercept quickly and transition, and so. Yes, Eriksen was very good, but Ugarte offers something different, and there are other players who can offer that same level of attacking prowess that Christian Eriksen offers, but there is nobody else in our squad that has the same levels of defensive prowess that Ugarte has. So I'd love to hear you say different.
Yeah, okay, so I'm for Ugarte I'm against Ugarte should have started. So, I just want to back Ten Hag. So I said at the start, Ten Hag made the brave decision to rotate the players around. He's actually got a squad big enough to be able to actually rotate. He's gone through a lot of stuff, and I've always been backing Ten Hag in, because I've seen some of I like the consistency. I like him as a person. He's a role model to the young players coming through. He can be stern and ruthless and strict when need to be. He can crack a joke when needs to as well. So I think this is all about Ten Hag and backing Ten Hag. And Ugarte was the last of our signings. And if you notice that we've been bleeding to let in, and Mazraoui, I think, has started every game apart from the Barnsley one. I think he might have even started, but I can't remember now. But other than Mazraoui, Xerxes and Ugarte and De Ligt and others are coming in sparingly. So I think throwing Ugarte in, starting against Liverpool would have been real. I don't think he was allowed to play anyway, but that would have been throwing him in at the deep end, and he might have got a red card and an injury or something. He hasn't been playing a lot for PSG either, so building him into the speed of the Premier League, I think, is very important. So I don't think Ugarte should have started. Going back to my point, back Ten Hag's decision. Ten Hag is training them on a daily basis. He sees the ins and outs. He knows when people are going to be ready to start games for Manchester United and Premier League. So in Ten Hag, I trust. If he doesn't think he's ready to start yet, I believe him. He's around the squad each and every day. So yeah, it just makes me excited for when he is ready to start. Because again, we've got squad depth in defence at the moment. Now we've got squad depth in the midfield, so we can start rotating Kobe out every other game. We can rotate Casemiro and Eriksen out every other game. We can't start everyone all the time. It's a squad game. So again, if Ten Hag thinks that Ugarte's not ready to start yet, he's not ready to start yet. Who are we to argue?
I think that we created plenty of opportunities though without Christian Eriksen, and so just having Ugarte to shut down the few opportunities that Crystal Palace had, because let's make no mistake, this very much could have been a loss for us, and I think that we were fortunate not to concede given some of the opportunities that they had. Yes, we were on the front foot, and Christian Eriksen is very good on the front foot whenever we're playing, and we need some vision and that ball playing opportunity, but it still doesn't hurt to have that bit of defensive prowess. And so, you talk about Crystal Palace had, 2, maybe 3 opportunities. We could have shut those out entirely. So it's almost the difference between a guaranteed tie versus maybe you have the opportunity for a win that you didn't necessarily have to have somebody to be in the starting 11 to get that win. I think we could have won without Christian Eriksen. Yes, he had very good moments, very very positive play from him, and it was good watching him play. I think he had a lot of very good moments, but the few opportunities that Crystal Palace was presented with could have been entirely snuffed out by Ugarte, and at that point it's just like, okay, we were already in for the draw, so at that point, what damage is being done? I think that we still would have had opportunities outside of Christian Eriksen if we would have started Ugarte. So, to me, Christian Eriksen was not a necessity. Ugarte could have started, and he probably should have started just to get a little bit of those Premier League minutes.
Yeah, I think you're focused on Eriksen quite a bit, and it's understandable. But I mean, the midfield.
Well, who's he replacing?
Well, Kobe Mainoo.
Yeah,
you could give Kobe Mainoo a rest.
No.
Well, okay.
No,
Kobe Mainoo hasn't been amazing for the last 2 or 3 games, right? So just, devil's advocate here, he could have decided, well, Eriksen's in form, Ugarte needs fitness, Kobe does need a rest because we've played him every game for the last 8 months. It's not out of the world of possibility that he could taken off Kobe, rested Kobe for a half or two, and put on Ugarte and Eriksen. I mean, I don't think we have a single mainstay in our midfield. I think I think they're all rotatable, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I don't think anyone is a fixed position, but now, the only thing here that you're not only going against me on this one, you're going against Ten Hag. So if you think you know better than Ten Hag, then fair play. However, I don't think you know better than Ten Hag, and therefore I think I should win on the against, because he knows better than both of us.
I mean, if anything, I would call that a draw, because does Ugarte improve the team? I think yes, he does. Do we need Christian Eriksen in that role? No, I don't think that we necessarily do.
We didn't concede any goals, so he's not going to help us out defensively. You can't do any better than keep a clean sheet, right? So Ugarte's not going to help out defensively in this match. We needed goals.
You can keep a clean sheet out of luck, or you can keep it out of prowess. And I think we kept it out of luck today.
I don't know. I think Onana actually had a bit of prowess today.
Well, that's one thing to say, which would go against everything that you've talked about up to this point.
No. One performance.
If you really want to have that conversation, we can go back a couple episodes or two, and we can fix the results.
It's a clean slate each week,
because
that's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure, Saf.
No one forced you to write the apology by Eriksen. It's fine. It's okay. All right, I'll take a draw. I'm happy with a draw, because Sporadiclese seems fixed on everything today. So draw. Let's go with that. Third and final question for or against. Is Xerxes is key to United's success? Now, I know we talked a bunch about Xerxes, but I'm going to go against on this one. Xerxes isn't our key to success. He's a great player and he started off well, but our success lies in all areas of the pitch, not just like honed in on one. And like I said earlier on, Xerxes is good. He's promising. He's creating space for other players. He's laying people on. But he's not actively helping us get any goals. Yes, some people aren't taking their chances. But I want my striker to be striking the ball and getting goals, to be an attacking player to help win us the game. Whether Rashford is on form or not, it's my characteristics in that position that I want to see. We mentioned about Xerxes earlier on. He looks good, but I want to see some tenacity out of him. I want to see a little bit of vengeance almost, a little bit of anger to fully focus on the priority of scoring us goals or create... Again, I'm happy that he's laying stuff on, and yes, Garnacho and others should have done better, but I think there are other keys to our success this season in particular. Diallo is such a key to our success. Generally, when he plays well, we end up playing well as a team. He played okay today, didn't play amazing, so we didn't get an amazing result. Again, when Garnacho turns, he can just turn it on like that whenever he likes. We've seen Eriksen had a 10 out of 10 performance. Yes, it's against Barnsley, but he's putting in the minutes at the moment. Lisandro Martinez, now he's been back in our team, is just such a rock-steady centrepiece to our defence. And then we've got De Ligt next to him now, who's the general, the antagonist. There's so many areas on the pitch where we are excelling in this season alone. And Xerxes is definitely a part of that. But is he the key that unlocks everything? I don't think so. I would love for that to be the case, but I haven't seen that in him yet. Yes, he's unlocked a couple of passes, as we mentioned, but him as a central figure, solo key, like star player for Manchester United, I want that to be the case. He's got the potential for that to be the case, but that isn't the case right here, right now.
I mean, I really have to disagree with you.
I know you do. You love Xerxes.
I mean, I do love Xerxes. And there's a reason that I love Xerxes. It's because he complements the play style of everybody else in the system. So he's not actively looking for goals. He has had opportunities where he has been able to score goals, and he unfortunately has not. But if you look at the number of opportunities that we have created as a team with Joshua Xerxes on the pitch versus what we have what we have put forward without him on the pitch, it's night and day difference. If he scores 3 goals, I love that. If we score 6 goals as a team because of the way that he facilitates our play and he doesn't score any goals, I would rather have the 6 goals that we scored as a team than the 3 goals that we did because he scored them and didn't facilitate the play. And that is exactly what we saw today. We had any number of opportunities that should have been capitalized on as a direct result of the moves that he was making, the space that he's occupying, the way that he's pulling defenders out of position. To me, there's just no way that you can say that he's not had a positive impact on the style of play that we have as a team. He is just such a space hunter. It's like, what would you imagine, prime Bayern Munich as without a Thomas Müller? Thomas Müller was the space hunter. Right? He was the person that's getting into the right places at the right times, pulling the right people out of the places that they needed to be in. And that's exactly what we're getting with Joshua Xerxes. And so to say that we're better off scoring 3 goals because he's getting in there and scoring them directly versus he's opening us up to scoring 6, 8, 10 goals, I think that's just absolutely ridiculous. I want to have the opportunity to score more goals. And the bottom line is we have better chances. We have better opportunities. We just didn't quite finish them today. But we wouldn't have those without Joshua Xerxes. And whenever you saw him get subbed off for Marcus Rashford, you saw our defense go limp. And that is exactly why I think that you should realize that we need to have him. And even then, whenever we brought on Rasmus Højlund, we subbed off Amad Diallo, switched Garnacho to the right, and had Rashford on the left. Our offense, again, looked limp. It did not look the same as whenever you have Joshua Zirkzee in it. So if you want to talk about, okay, well, I could play Joshua Zirkzee and, Rasmus Højlund in, that would be great. I would love that. I would love to have, a little bit of dynamism in terms of the formation that we can play. I want to see them play at the same time. But if you're going to have to pick one or the other, then you're going to get more opportunities playing Joshua Zirkzee than you are Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford, anybody else up top, period. And I want more chances. I want more opportunities. I want to see us attacking the ball, us attacking the goal. And that only worked out today because of Joshua Zirkzee. And I look forward to seeing him do it again next week and the weekend after and every subsequent weekend of this entire season because he is that good.
But you can't. It's harsh to compare the same game of football. So you're saying Zirkzee in the first hour or so creates space and that, but obviously in the final half an hour against Palace, they sat further and further back trying to protect their win, and they were counter-attacking for sure, but there was a lot less space in the Palace half the later the game went on. So yeah, we brought on Højlund and Rashford, but we had Martinez doing two-footed tackles on the edge of the Palace box. We had people like De Ligt running. There wasn't enough space for anyone to be effective. So I think it's a bit harsh to compare those two instances. Two different times of the match, two different scenarios are going on. But look, I agree. It's great that he's creating chances, but that just because you're creating chances in an offensive area doesn't make you a star player. And that's what I read from the question. Zirkzee is key to United's success. And I don't see him. That's what a star player is. Like, Bruno's a star player. Garnacho is a star player. When he's on form, Rashford is our star player. Other than that, we don't really have many star players yet because they're all a new group. I just don't think Zirkzee is that star player yet. He's got star potential, star qualities. Yeah, he's a great team player. But again, without that tenacity of getting goals and showing that hunger, I don't think he's going to be that star player unless he starts showing that. But he's definitely not our star player now. We could win games with Zirkzee not being on the pitch as well. He's not the be-all or end-all yet. I want him to be, but he's not yet. Again, it's a positive start. We'll see at the end of the season how he blossoms. But to me, right now, he's not that key yet, and he's not our star player yet. Everyone in the squad has got some time to prove their worth. We'll see at the end of the season.
I mean, he's not the be-all or end-all, but we look a better team whenever he's on the pitch versus whenever he's not. And it's I see it as very difficult to argue against that. You put Rashford up top, it's not the same. He's trying to do all of the same things that the wingers are trying to do. Zirkzee is trying to engage the wingers better and get them more opportunities to be able to score goals. And I just, again, it's a matter of quantity and quality of opportunities, and you're getting better quality and quantity of opportunities under Joshua Zirkzee than you are under a Marcus Rashford. So I just don't see how you can say that Zirkzee is not improving our squad as a whole to a tremendous degree. Honestly,
that's not the question, though, Sporadiclese. That's not the question. I know he's improving the squad. I know he's improving the team. But that's not the question.
Well, if he's improving the squad and the team, then how can you say that he's not key to our success? If he's making the team better, then how can he not be key in us performing?
Mazraoui is making our team better, but he's not a key to success. It's an improvement. It's an improvement to what we've seen for the last 12 months, but he's not the key. Maybe he'll turn into the key. But again.
So who is the key then? Who?
Well, like I mentioned, Rashford, Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes. They are the keys that unlock goals for us at the moment.
No.
What do you mean? You can't just say no. That's my opinion. That's what I think. That's what I think. Like, they are the keys to our success.
Your opinion is not great.
I know, but
that's fine. I do not believe that at all because again,
Xerxes been with us for 6 weeks, sporadically 6 weeks, and yes, he's improved us, but we're not winning games with him in the team. We're not losing them either. But I mean, it's an improvement. He's not there yet. Going back to Xerxes'
key. We played without him last season. Literally every single one. Where did we finish?
Well, we just beat Barnsley 7-0.
How many opportunities did we create? Barnsley 7-0.
It's the recent evidence I've got. I'm going to go with it. Yeah, I love 7-0s better than 0-0s.
I would love to continue to trash Tier 1 teams. But you know what? The reality that we live in is that we're in the Premier League. We're not in Tier 1. We have to play against Tier 1 teams. And the way that we are going to do that is to be able to facilitate the play from our wingers through our striker, which we have not seen up to this point. Yes, we have had luck and success playing a false 9 with like Bruno Fernandes against Manchester City. You cannot do that week in, week out. You are not going to score goals week in, week out. Playing that style of false 9, Joshua Zirkzee is a natural false 9 almost. And so he has the ability on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball to make an impact. And we've seen that even today. We had so many opportunities today just by the movement. Like it's those things that you don't see in the statistics that really make the difference with Joshua Zirkzee and his ability to unlock our offense. And so, yes, you're not going to see the passes. You're not going to see the assists. You didn't see the goals. But what you don't see is the big chances created off the back of his hard work, his poaching space, his ability to be in the right positions at the right time, his ability to cover for the wingers whenever they're out of position because they've been attacking and he dropped into defense or into the midfield and now understands that he needs to go and play on the defense. He is 100% a game changer for us, and I don't understand how you can argue any different.
Before Sporadiclese burst the blood vessel, we're going to have to wrap things up because we've gone on for much longer than the way it was. But no one's disagreeing with Sporadiclese. I'm just saying that he's not that person yet. He's not our star player yet. He's not that go-to, goal-hungry predator yet. Like he's all that potential to be this person. And you can't just walk into Manchester United and be a star player. You have to earn it. You have to be given that title by fans over a period of time. And 6 weeks, the amount of time that he's been with us, isn't long enough to be called a star player yet. You have to earn that privilege and earn that role. And yeah, that could come in time. But it's not 6 weeks into your Manchester United history. Zlatan is probably the only person that could walk into our team and be a star player. Because he's Zlatan. That's what Zlatan does. And that Zlatan song, again, is just an amazing song. It was on the Hot Ones.
Zlatan doing Zlatan things.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, that's the bar for star players and stardom, right? Of walking into a team and taking over and control. Xerxes got the potential, but he's just not there yet. And so that's it. I agree with everything else Sporadiclese says. I just don't think he's at that point yet. And you can't call someone a player 6 weeks into their signing. Like, you have to give them a season or two and then say, yeah, they're a star player. Rooney, as good as he was at 16, when he came into the team, like, he wasn't really a star player until he's 18. And this is Rooney we're talking about. So if we're at that level for Rooney, we have to give Xerxes and everyone else that amount of time as well, and then we adjust on those. So yeah, I'm taking this one, Sporadiclese. I'm taking this one. It is
absolutely not. No,
it is against
10 out of 10. Xerxes is going to prove you wrong this whole
season. And he could
be,
but as of right now, at the moment of this question, I think I've got it. We need time to answer this question comprehensively.
Do we finish better than 8th with Zirkzee as our main striker?
Mate, that was the worst. That was the worst season we've ever had in the Premier League. of course I'd expect us to do better with him in, because if we do much worse, that's creating history in itself. But yeah, look, we have to do better. But again, that answer takes time as well. We'll see at the end of the season whether having Xerxes in... I mean, look, we're 7th at the moment, aren't we?
Man, I can't believe that you're against this.
Well, I'm against this because I have to be.
I so disagree with
this is
statement.
for or against, so I kind of have to be against. So
we already look a different team only 6 games in, just having him play up top.
Yes,
and
but you
so
can't put the responsibility
for you to
of
say
a
that he's
star
not going to be
player
key,
on someone who's just got to Manchester. It needs to be
on
earned.
someone that's just creating all of this positive
For 3
influence on
games.
offense.
For 3 games. Anyway, we could go on to we're blue in the face. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Am I right? Am I wrong? Is Sporadiclese right? Is he wrong? Let us know in the comment section.
We're gonna go blue in the face once we're done.
So, I know. So stop. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the follow, like, and subscribe. And we are new around here, so why don't you share the video to some of your friends or a couple of Discord groups or Facebook groups? Share us about. Say, look, there's a new Manchester United fan channel up in town, and they're looking to take over. If we don't kill each other before Christmas. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been the Saffron Man. He's been Sporadiclese. And we'll catch you guys. You see me on Tuesday and you see Sporadiclese on Friday. But we'll catch you next time. Till then, peace.